right, we start out with some just the news to start the stream today of what's been going on. We got 4.8.3 dropped. We got roadmap update, monthly report, and a 4.9 patch all yesterday. And we'll start out with the worst bit of news, I think, and that is 4.8.3, the return of Xenothreat. I mean, this image is like 10 years old now. I feel like this was like the original Xenothreat image, I think. No, it's not, but because the Idris wasn't a part of it for too long, was it? No, it was always a part of it. Yeah, it's so old I can't remember. I don't know how this is personally supposed to excite anybody. It doesn't really excite me. What does excite me is that there's like you get the FR86, FR76, and FR66 blueprints out of this, so you can improve your shields. But yeah, like immediately, like just below this, there's barely anything written about Xenothreat, and it's 75%. No, FR86, excuse me, FR66 and 76. That's right. I was surprised there was no FR86, but that's it. It's kind of Xenothreat, but not really Xenothreat. It's missions now instead of the original event. And if it's just missions, it's just the same thing that we've been doing forever. So it's nothing new, nothing exciting. Just grind more missions for more blueprints. I don't think 2027 is going to look like 2026. I got a funny feeling like 2025 and 2026 with the way they're I guess the word would be timing things, like how they're all right, we're doing the 4.8 and then we're doing a number of dot patches with content drops. I don't think they're keeping up very well, and it's a little slow. Wait, the 86 BP is already in? How did I not know that? But yeah, it's reskinned Foxwell crap. Everything is reskinned Foxwell crap. Everything is. That's the thing is, since they've made Foxwell missions with defend, escort, kill, all that, everything is the same. Wait, are those BPs going to be permanent? Good question. I'm prepared for you. This is what Niku said on the feedback thread, I think. Yes. The reward introduced this patch is unique blueprints. Like the other blueprints, they will persist across future updates. I'm sorry, but these being unique to only this mission set there's a 0% chance that stays. Like, if you don't do these now, you're screwed on these blueprints when they are the most commonly used shields over the last 5 years of the PU. I highly doubt it's going to stay unique to these missions, or these missions are going to stay past 4.8.3 would be my guess. No blueprints are aren't account bound. That doesn't mean earning them isn't worthwhile. As long as you have those blueprints, you'll be able to craft a wide range of excellent gear. They're going to get this feedback, and they're going to have to change this. It's very weird to lock these specific military grade FR66 and 76s behind an event, especially an event that apparently isn't working. Everybody is complaining that there's a ton of desync. I, again, was playing Valheim yesterday. I didn't really care to give it a try on launch because that's usually how it's going to be. Maybe this morning it's a little bit better. We're going to give it a try after we go through everything. Now let's go to the roadmap. I have a feeling, I, again, did not pay attention to a single thing yesterday, but I have a feeling that this is where we delay things. Yep, here we go. That's what it looks like. We'd like to share an update on the upcoming Alpha 4.9 release, as well as our ongoing initiative to address many of the common bugs and issues that both new and veteran players encounter on a regular basis. As mentioned during the recent Star Citizen Live, which again, you guys really got to pay attention here. They knew at the time they were delaying it. They just didn't tell us at that time. He was like softening the blow in that moment. Like, they already knew. They already knew. Test, thank you very much. As mentioned during the SCL, we've reassessed our bug prioritization process following the release of Alpha 4.8. As part of that effort, we've refined how we prioritize bugs with the increased involvement, blah, 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 blah. Which, again, the big thing is player experience is more involved with these, where they recently had no power, from my understanding, to help solve these issues, and now they have a little bit more. Based on reports from Mission Council, Reddit, direct player feedback, we've identified nearly 100 issues that significantly impact core gameplay systems and quality of life, covering areas including instance hangars, ATC, ship retrieval, freight elevators, quantum travel, star map routing, inventory UI and interaction, ships being falsely marked as lost or destroyed, docking, ship FPS AI, login flow, and exploits. Now, I'm sorry that I'm abrasive. I'm sorry that I'm an abrasive human being. I think it's like being from New Jersey or just generally being an asshole. But I think it's mostly being sick and fucking tired of dealing with all of these issues for so many years and nobody at this company saying what they wrote here at the top of this thing. The top of this roadmap is all I've ever wanted. Like, just admit that you know that these are problems, and then prioritize them as a top priority to fix them. I mean, over the last year and a half, quantum traveling in this game, it has ruined the entire experience for me. I like the fact, like, just the constant annoyance of routing is just, it's just such a simple, not a simple thing to fix necessarily, but it's a simple thing to recognize that you need to address it. And you've needed to address it forever, right? Freight elevator's another one, right? And to just like, hey, we got to get to the root of the problem, not continue to Band-Aid fix. I don't use big ships that much, so docking is whatever. Ship and FPS AI are obviously not great. And then everybody dealing with login flow. And then exploits have ruined this game forever. But again, I'll say this over and over again. The biggest exploit is the lack of attention to detail of the economy team, because we are already in insane inflation at the moment. So yeah, holy. In addition, we're tracking a broader list of quality of life issues frequently reported by new players, while many veteran players have learned workarounds for common problems they shouldn't have to. As we continue working towards making Star Citizen as welcoming as possible for new players, we're also addressing many of the issues that commonly affect the first hour of gameplay. For those who remember the state of transit in early 2025, we're applying a similar philosophy here. At one point, months of bug fixing produced only incremental improvements, so we shifted our focus to developing new debugging tools for QA that could identify root causes rather than simply addressing symptoms. The result is what many would consider a far more robust transit system today. Freight elevators are a good example of why this matters. Despite 70 to 80 fixes last summer, players still don't feel the system is stable or reliable as it should be. It shouldn't exist. I feel like. I also just feel like it just shouldn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you should store your ship and you should interact with the cargo via a screen, like every other game does, via a menu of some kind, right? Like, you just pull and drag things, and it happens in the background, and you don't need to spawn things in and delete things, and elevators come up, and elevators go down, and elevators get stuck. Like, the root cause is the freight elevator existing at all because, we want to physically move everything. The much better way of doing it is the opposite. Now, they don't want to do that. That's not Chris's vision. It's very clear. So I'm glad that they're addressing it. Much of that work addressed in individual systems rather than the underlying causes. Freight elevators interact with many other gameplay systems, creating a large surface area for issues, but as a core gameplay feature, they need to be dependable at all times. So far, we've roughly resolved roughly 20% of the issues on our current priority list. We don't expect to complete every fix in time for 4.9, but we're confident this more methodical, root cause driven approach is the right path forward for systems of Star Citizen scale and complexity. Now, freight elevators, if they're getting the transit treatment, they're completely being rewritten. Right? So I don't know if that's what's actually happening here. Naturally, an initiative like this will come with trade-offs that requires dedicated time from several teams responsible for these core systems, time that would otherwise be spent developing new features or supporting additional content. As a result, we've temporarily paused work on a small number of features while we focus on improving the stability of these foundational systems. With that in mind, we're moving Siege of Orison and all instance-related content out of 4.9 and into 4.10, scheduled for mid-August. These additional 4 weeks will allow us to continue hardening the features and technology and related deliverables planned for content. Instancing in particular introduces a significant number of new systems, backend services, and gameplay mechanics that require additional validation before we are comfortable bringing them to live. Based on a recent tech preview builds, we believe more work is still needed. I mean, about time, you know? About time they were like, hey, this is not going to be good. Maybe we should hold this back. Now, I don't think the game is in a place where, I want to jump in and play it all the time. Okay, that it is what it, like when somebody says it's an alpha, well, okay, I'm not going to enjoy it at this moment. That doesn't, so I may not be having fun in Star Citizen. That doesn't mean that this is a negative. This is a overwhelmingly positive thing where they go, hey, we can't launch this patch, right? Back to the monthly patch cycle, not necessarily, but for something big, taking more time, like just use your brain here, use some logic here. If there's something big that's going to cause a lot of instability to the system, give it a moment, give it time. Make sure you're not going to bring in a ton of instability. It should be great. Yeah, patch always goes. Maybe it shouldn't. Exactly. So with these changes, 4.9 in mid-July will still deliver a variety of bug fixes, optimizations, quality of life improvements, and new content we're excited to get into your hands as quickly as possible. But yeah. So here's what's in 4.9. Support the Miners Mission Pack, implementing a new set of repeatable missions from Recco, an independent mining logistics coordinator based in Levski. Take on a variety of contracts, including prospecting, mining, recovery, salvage, investigation, shipwreck. So just more of the same missions we already have, but just from Recco. Or have I only seen the... I'm a little out of the loop at the moment because things have been flying all over the place. I did Recco missions. That was in 4.9 PTU. Yes, it was. Okay, so this is just more of what I've done in 4.9 PTU, some of which we haven't seen yet, or I haven't seen yet at least. Combat clothing, so silly. I don't care about that. New hairstyles has been committed again. Wow, what a highlight. Ordnance cargo holder, again, just a visual update, not even a thing to put here. This is the tiniest thing ever, and it's just to fill out a card on the roadmap. An FPS weapon, okay. Ship combat UI improvements. This is the hit marker, which I hear on the PTU we now have sound. Juvenile and adult Valacar behavior updates. Okay. This is just juvenile and adult, though. More dynamic burrowing, tracking, repositioning, and attack patterns. All right. And then ship flyby audio. Now we see 4.10 with Siege of Orison, instancing, mission giver Recco Battaglia. These are the narrative missions. But, so we'll have missions from her in 4.9, but narrative missions in 4.10. Super heavy armor is getting moved? Okay, must be built within the instancing thing, along with the HMG. That's disappointing. I think if you were able to bring super heavy to 4.9, that would have probably like softened the blow a little bit. People would have had fun for a couple days. New Wickelos, the Drake Clipper, ship loadout improvements. So even item recovery is getting kicked down the line. Ninetales armor update is getting kicked down the line, of course. And the fuel tank and consumption rebalance is getting another 4 weeks. So that's a good thing as well, since we've seen how they've been like trickling in the fuel tank thing. And I think it was confusing a lot of people where they thought that they wanted quantum fuel to be like a really painful thing. And now it's not. So, all right, that was the roadmap update. I don't have a lot to say on that. I think it's overall a positive that CIG is finally able to recognize that it might not be a good idea to patch always go. Then we have the monthly report, which I don't think there's going to be too much here. I'll probably skip through quite a bit of it. AI content, I don't see anything. AI features, fixed an issue with super heavy NPCs. Here's Apex Valakar. The devs introduced the ability to constrain it to an area while avoiding another. It also received laser and EMP attacks, gained the ability to switch between attacks, and improvements were made. EMP attacks? What? What do you think about that? You guys like that? It's kind of weird. So you can't choose it with ships. No, I get that. Because it's supposed to be a combined arms fight with ships. But I'm just looking back to the original, demo that they did of it, and it was just shooting rocks. I can't envision an Apex Valakar having an EMP inside of it, right? So that's something, and like a laser. So those two things are hard for me to envision, as like the vision I have of the Apex Valakar fight is the vehicle driving around and spawning it, and then everybody, rocks being thrown around and stuff like that. So weird. And improvements were made on surface sound detection. For the Urmandi, a bug causing it to get stuck in reactions was fixed. Although not yet integrated into P2, improvements were made for flight AI, for fleeing behind objects and counter-chasing behaviors. Okay. Animation, again, Apex Valakar, while planning the next round of creatures. And Recco Battaglia. Character art, working on a new armor set, mission rewards, updates to Ninetale gangs. So we don't know how old this is since we've seen the update to Ninetale gangs and other upcoming items, Starware Initiative, and another new combat armor. Ship art. These are the old ones, Gattack stuff. Further work was done for the Liberator, including integrating and repurposing new Anvil stuff. Okay. Not like no new features that we didn't know about the ship or whatever. It just holds other ships, right? More, and we know now repair, refuel, rearm is going to be really useful on that, since it works so well on the other ships. Arside Galaxy, we're not far from IAE now. We're like, all the IAE ships are probably being scheduled. We're going to see a lot of unknown ship updates here. So Galaxy is being worked on. 2 new ground vehicle variants. Again, ground vehicles, who cares? I never see ground vehicles really get used outside of YouTube videos where people are like, I'm going to use a ground vehicle today because I want to, not because it's the best thing to do. 4 unannounced ships progressed. So here's where those are. First, a new fighter. And second, a Xian to fulfill a generalist role. The only generalist ship we have is the Clipper. So expect a crafting table on it and expect a medical bed on it. Third, they don't say anything about it. And fourth, they don't say anything about it. The mocap team is currently preparing to tackle the complicated animations required for this ship. Complicated animations in the 4th. Wonder what that is. Also, this is Kraken, right? Yeah. Okay, there it is. Finally, the North American team moved on to the Kraken. I feel like that's the only thing they're working on, is the North American team is on the Kraken. It's obviously a huge ship. Art weapons, the new high caliber weapon. We know it. We've used it. So I don't know why they're hiding it. Community, we always skip because it's just bar citizen stuff. Core gameplay. They shifted to bug fixing, including problems with hangar freight elevator, quantum travel, star map. So they're all on bug fixing. And then they talk about the heavy machine gun. Again, that's pushed down the line. Item recovery. This is, again, a thing that's pushed down the line. But let's see what they say. Individual began work. Ship pates can now be bricked and recovered like other components. Fixes went for brick ships that remain flyable. Cut down on unnecessary claims. Ships destroyed while inside hangar can be claimed for free. Starware. Validates player NPC loadouts, for example. May require specific. Okay, yeah, none of that's interesting. Updated server core systems were made in StarkArchitect, which will fundamentally change how designers place locations. Now, harvestables and loot are context aware of their surrounding location and environment, so designers can match loot to the environment more easily. That's huge. So this is not just loot, but when they say harvestables, are minables considered harvestables? Because this is a big thing with StarkArchitect and Planetech V5 is we want to go to a specific biome to look for iron. You want to go to a specific biome to look for, and then that should cut down some of the scanning annoyance, but I have already expressed it a million times. It's not really about scanning, going from rock to rock to scanning. It's the 50 scans you got to do to find out if a rock is worth mining, right? That's not really fun. For instance, instead of manually placing outlaw-specific loot boxes, this system will now detect a location is outlaw controlled and select the right loot type automatically. Crafting is ongoing similar changes for StarkArchitect, and mission system required significant work, so the designers could set up mission locations and contracts at a much larger scale. Freight elevators and security systems are now StarkArchitect compatible as well. This procedural shift also triggered a broader view of core gameplay systems. The team rewrote how nav points are handled and access to ensure any system reading the data keeps working, even when a location is fully streamed out. This will allow StarkArchitect locations to appear correctly on the star map, be routed to, show up in the quantum travel HUD, and support location inventories for freight elevators. For the command module, post-release support, bugs, things like that. We saw a lot of those. Ahead of tech preview and player testing, they fixed critical instancing bugs. We don't even care anything about instancing right now. Talk to me in a month. Transport shuttles can now be gated behind mission logic, matching functionality already available in the legacy system. The team cleaned up code for elevator carriages and things like that. Okay. Work then continued on a toolset for designers to build mission content with numerous workflow fixes and optimization. Devs also began building a mission board UI provider component to support local interactable mission boards, first planned for use at the new StarkArchitect locations. I thought we have this at Wicklow, but I guess they want to do more. Progress also continued on bringing back physical mission givers. Players can now receive a one-time comms call from a mission giver when they meet certain conditions, such as entering a specific star system. That's Recco Battaglia. So you'll see that in 4.10 with her narrative missions or whatever they called them. To close out some of the ship hangar services, team support missile containers. Yeah, we know that already. Finally, for social and orgs, chat was re-implemented with more robust customizable tabs. A new location-based channel lets players near a planet chat with others in the vicinity, automatically switching channels as they move between areas. The team also entered the discovery phase for the reworked Friends app. Why would they say orgs? I wonder if this is going to be an org-related chat. We do that. Our org has to do this every patch. We create a new chat called 30K Comms. This has all of our org members in it, and then we're able to invite, like when we're doing a group thing, you could just invite the entire org to party, and it's a much easier org invite and things like that. I think they're just hyping too. I don't think it's an actual thing. Creature content, Apex Valakar. Work on the Apex Sand variant is still underway. I see. So now this is giving more context to the Apex EMP and laser. Perhaps the Sand variant doesn't have an EMP or a laser, but perhaps there is. Maybe the irradiated one does, right? And that fight changes a little bit in the future, or there are new Apex variants that are coming. Doesn't the Snake have a laser or lightning? It has a laser, yeah. But again, it's just not how I envisioned the Apex Valakar because of how they initially presented it to us. Doesn't mean it's not going to be fun. It's just one of those things we got to see how it plays out. Pre-production for a brand new creature family began with exploration around visual identity, silhouettes, combat legibility, and gameplay archetypes going through. So an entirely new creature type. Last month, the economy team evaluated economic data from Alpha 4.8 release and worked to improve some of the underlying systems, such as repair and reclaim. This will allow outliers to be more reasonably priced. And can you look at the outliers of how much your missions make? For fuck's sake. Again, insane inflation. Again, my org made 1 billion credits last month. Can we talk about the limits on trade and things like that? We can't even trade anymore because of these stupid limits, because inflation is so high that you can't buy items. Like, it basically is going to cap every item at 100 mil at some point. Every item's just going to cost 100 mil, and if you want one, you have to trade one at a time. It's going to be the dumbest thing ever. I get it. You want to remove exploits or whatever, but this ain't it. Mission design. Siege, Reco, recent armor rebalance. They got to do ship rebalances with their missions, okay? Narrative. Several events going on. We think there's some Xenothreat thing. Additional content might be needed. Performance capture. Online tech. I usually look for things around social tools or that, but I'm not seeing anything. Discovery phase for the future crafting and refining system. So refining, we really need. So that's a thing that's mentioned there. They held multiple sessions that resolved complex questions about how crafted items interact with player-owned equipment, insurance, and persistent item upgrades. R&D. Gas clouds, like always, and VFX is just Star Citizen VFX. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, nothing really exciting in the monthly report. The Apex Valakar is the weirdest one, I would say, and just generally, ships are in the work. And then I pointed this out earlier, but just 4.9, the PTU, I guess the major update is you're now going to have audio based on the hit type for each marker. So that's everything for the week. I covered it all in one quickish video, I hope, and that's that. Let me know what you guys think, I guess.